It is recording.
Oh.
If Bob sees it, he'll probably start laughing, and we'll all know when he's watching it because we'll hear him laughing.
Hello, Bob.
So, hi, Bob.
Hey, Bob.
Hey, Bob.
Bob.
Well, tonight we're going to have, I believe Jason's going to contribute. You didn't know that?
Let me go first.
His name was on the list. And I can see we have a nice presentation here by Scott Broughton from Rowing Corporation. So, talking about Office 365 and some of the things you can do in the cloud. And of course, we're going to tie that all into Office 2013, since at some point they're all related. So, go ahead. Thank you, Scott.
All right. Scott, if I may go first, just because I can get my part out of the way.
Absolutely.
So, Bob and I were talking and trying to come up with an idea, and so we finally stumbled upon, hey, we can talk about Office and Office 365, and then I got volunteered to do the presentation. And I
That's
thought,
what you
okay,
did for talking about it.
that's what I did, and I agreed that I would do it. And then an amazing thing happened. Somewhere along in the email threads of everything, Scott said, hey, I've got a presentation I do regularly on this, and I went, awesome, give it. That's my part.
We expect at least one good question from you.
I'm gonna work on it.
Nicely done, Jason. That was great.
Thank you. If there's one thing I can do, it's pass the buck.
Uh-oh.
Well, what do you do, Scott? Give me a second. Give me a second.
Jason,
There
you
we
fix
go.
that?
All
I
right.
didn't bring my hand.
Well, like Bill and Jason said, I'm Scott Brunton with Rowing Corporation. I'm a cloud application specialist. A lot of my work there deals with Office 365, setting it up and troubleshooting. And before I get into this, I just wanted to mention one thing I picked up a couple months ago. My title, cloud application specialist, I learned that you should never put the word specialist in an email because it might get flagged as spam. Anybody know why? It has the word Cialis in it.
Well,
Just FYI. So we'll be talking about Office 365 and Office 2013, how they work together, what they are.
I think that's enough for tonight.
I do have a poll question.
Now you're gonna jump in after Cialis?
Yeah.
He's up.
I'm not really an honest person. No, but I do have a quick poll question while we're right here. Anybody using Office 365 or have clients that are using Office 365? So we've got a few other people that are experienced with it. Great.
How about Office 2013?
Oh yeah, I can take that one.
Okay. All right. So tonight's agenda, we're going to talk just briefly a couple statistics, and then go dive into Office 365, what it is, and learn the differences between Office 2013 and 365 and how they tie together. And then I'll give you a short demo on both 2013, the new features in Office, the actual Office application, as well as the applications, the web applications in the back end of Office 365. So first, a few stats here. Trends impacting the way we work. 4 years ahead of schedule, we're at 1 billion smartphones out there, not counting tablets and other things too. So there's a lot of these out there. Microsoft knows this, and they're gearing all their Office applications to work on smartphones and tablets, kind of work across the board on any internet-connected device, computer. For the first time, there's 3 generations in the workplace. So for you young kids, parents and grandparents are out there. For people my age, I've got on kind of both sides. I've got my people, my parents' age, as well as kids out there. So you've got a lot of people out there with different varying backgrounds. So Microsoft is trying to make Office available and easy to use for everyone out there. And the most striking statistic I found was 50% of enterprise customers are on their road to the cloud. So 1 out of every 2 people or groups, companies are out there moving their data up to the cloud. So I found that interesting. That being said, let's dive into 365. What is it? Well, it's 2 things really. It's the comprehensive tools you need to do your best work. So you're talking Office applications, Outlook, Word, Excel, PowerPoint, and and the actual enterprise-grade cloud services behind it. Exchange, SharePoint, Link Server. 365 brings those two together. And how does it do that? Well, let's take a look at it at a glance. Office 365, obviously with Office 365 you can't say that without saying Office. So it includes Office 2013. The nice thing is it's always current. So when the next version of Office comes out, say 2016 or whatever version it is, you'll automatically be upgraded to it if you have a subscription to 365. It has web applications which are lightweight, Office, Outlook, Word, PowerPoint, Excel. So you can actually run them in a browser. I'll give a demo of that coming up. One advantage 365 has over other applications such as Google is the familiar Office experience. Everyone knows how to use Outlook, Excel. And it's based on per user licensing, which we'll get into in a minute. One leg of 365 is Link Online. Has anyone here used Link before? What is it? Link is the instant messaging component of 365. It also does web conferencing, video conferencing. It's your presence indicator, which you'll see come up in the demo. Kind of lets you know when you're available and when you're not available. Another leg is SharePoint Online. We did have a discussion some months back on SharePoint. What is it? It's file storage and collaboration. And then, of course, the flagship product, server product of Microsoft is Exchange. Exchange Online, which is, of course, your email, calendars, contacts. This slide is a little out of date. It says 25 gigabyte mailbox. Microsoft has recently upgraded that to 50 gigabyte mailbox. So, the new Office. As I mentioned before, it works across all devices, whether it's Macintosh, PC, laptop, tablet, phone. Works for Windows Phone, iOS, Android devices, and it's touch optimized too, which you'll see in the demo how they accomplish that. Microsoft is foraying into the social. They just recently acquired Yammer, which is kind of a Facebook type application, as well as the Link software. Now, if you do the instant messaging, you can also do the web and video conferencing with that as well. Cloud. It's been a while. We've been pushing data up to the cloud. Microsoft is now starting to push their applications up to the cloud. Office, the actual desktop version of Office is actually streamed down. We got a question in the back.
Quick question. Did I hear you say that Office 365 will work on an Android platform?
Yes.
Is
It's not the desktop application, it's the web app. So it's actually running through a browser. So you'll see that in the demo. It's got
Okay.
the full ribbon and everything.
Right.
But yeah, it'll work across multiple devices, multiple operating systems. That's a good question. The Office software is actually streamed down. No longer are you purchasing DVDs or CDs of the software. You get Office 2013 via streaming. The cloud app development model, like I was saying, we've been using Outlook web app for years now. They finally ported Excel, Word, PowerPoint as applications, so that's how you use them on different devices other than Windows. And of course, enterprise-grade reliability and standards. The server lines have been around for years. And Microsoft spent quite a bit of money with their data centers, making them ISO 9000 and all those other certifications, making them compliant with an extreme focus on security. One of the things people in our industry like is the control, being able to control who gets what and when. Things such as DLP, data loss prevention, data retention, and unified e-discovery. Very important. And a consistent management experience. In the demo, you'll see how administering Office, the dashboard, Exchange, SharePoint, Link Online, it's all a consistent interface. It's very easy to use. There's very low learning curve on it. Okay, diving into Office 365 Pro Plus, which is the version that comes with Office 365. The first time, side-by-side installs of Office 2013 with the old version of Office. If you've got, for some reason, you want to hold on to Office 2007, let's say, for example, you just want to test drive 2013, you can actually put them both on side-by-side. You don't have to upgrade. 5 installs per user on PCs or Macs. So with every subscription to 365, you can install on your work computer, your home computer, your Windows tablet, laptop. You get up to 5 user licenses for each copy, or 5 copies for each user license. One of the neat things is the personalized settings. They can roam between devices. So if you get if you log in, get your Word settings, the normal template set the way you want it, the background and everything. Log out, go to a different computer. It doesn't have to have the same operating system. If you log in, it'll bring over your recently used documents and all your settings and everything too. So it makes it seamless to transfer.
Scott,
Yes.
is that those settings and that sharing, is that through the SkyDrive integration that makes that possible? Is that what it's input?
I don't think it goes necessarily through SkyDrive. SkyDrive is more of the personal data storage. I don't know if that's very.
But if you pull down the full version of Word and set your settings on it, somewhere on the back end it's synchronizing that.
Right.
It's not just the
It's
web.
going through your Office 365 login, so there's some settings that follow you around there.
So if you download and install the apps on your computer, when you launch those apps, it prompts you to log into your 365 account.
Yes. You don't have to. You can use it standalone. You don't have to actually go through it, but in order to have your settings your configurations, that's how you have to do it.
That makes sense.
And then there's some other things too, where 365 can actually tie in with Active Directory and kind of control policy. Things like that. Speaking of devices, it's optimized for touch, as I was saying earlier. The web applications, the desktop applications have a touch mode and they have a mouse mode. Mouse mode is the standard mode of it. But once you put it in touch mode, all the icons kind of spread out, look at the buttons spread out, so it's easier with your fingers to touch. Tablets, phones, things like that. In this particular example, they've got PowerPoint 2013 up there. You can annotate with the stylus and presenter view. How many people here have used PowerPoint 2013? It's pretty nice because it's got kind of the next slide peek there, as well as notes all on the screen here. So this is what I'm seeing here, and you're seeing just the presentation. So it's pretty neat. As with most devices, most touch devices, attention phones too, it supports that. Here's an example. This is Outlook 2013. The touch mode spreads things out a little bit, so it's easier to actually get to. There's a little sidebar ribbon there for your most recent views, reply to, delete, go to the next email, flag, things like that. Just on the left-hand side here, the icons for your mail, calendar, contacts are kind of spread out. So it just makes it easier to use.
Scott, do all of these versions include Exchange on the back end?
Yes. I'll show you this more in detail in the demo here, but this is one of the nicest features of Outlook 2013. The inline replies. Anyone who's done a reply and then got busy and then another email came in, did another reply, pretty soon you start having all these pop-up windows of all these drafts that you have open. With the advent of 2013, they're all within the same window now. I'll give a demo of that in a few minutes. There's also quick peeks, so you don't necessarily have to dive into your calendar. You can just kind of hover above it and it'll show you just kind of a quick peek of what your schedule's like for the day. And then again, all the devices support it, some natively and some with the web applications. Social aspect. Multi-party HD video using Link. It's not just instant messaging, but also web conferencing and video conferencing as well. I believe you can have up to 50 people online. Now, of course, that's going to put a drag on the system with all that video, but normally it's 5 to 10 people is sufficient. But it's nice because you can desktop share, you can application share, you can make a whiteboard and present it. So you can, usually in the past we've had third-party products that use it for video conferencing. Now it's all built in. With the acquisition of Skype, they have actually federated the two, so now Skype and Link can talk to each other. Cloud. As I was speaking before, we've pushed our data up to the cloud for quite some time now, but now we're starting to get the applications running from the cloud. What I was addressing earlier, when you get logged in here, your settings actually follow you, like, for example, your recently used documents. Once you get signed in, all your settings and everything come with it. I've actually used this it was probably 3 months ago or so. Started on a Word document in the office, 5 o'clock rolled around, worked on closing up shop about that time. But I needed to finish the document, so I went home, logged in, picked up right where I left off, and like I just didn't even close it at all. So it was kind of nice. It goes back right to where you left off. Again, Office roams with you. With 365, you get, I believe it's 7 gigabytes of SkyDrive storage. So that's your personal storage. You can store data to. You also get SharePoint storage too, so you can set up libraries and have that all secured. As I was talking earlier, the way 365 and Office 2013 is actually deployed, it's coming from the cloud. So if you go to office.com, place office.com/setup, punch in your code, boom, down comes 365, it streams right to your desktop. So it takes about 15-20 minutes, depending on your download speed, to install 2013. And then also, side by side, you can install Office with Office 2013 version. Stuff we might be concerned with is the control side of things. This is just a picture of the dashboard, the Office 365 dashboard. Set up the user, set up groups, set up your domains, take care of all the high-level stuff here. Most of the stuff can be done through the web console. Some things can't yet, so if anyone here has done any PowerShell programming, you can still do that with Office 365. Tie in with Exchange, SharePoint, and Link Online. Just a picture of the Exchange Online side of things. So once you drill into Exchange Online, you can set things like create new email addresses for user accounts, or change the inbound rules for emails, address compliance management, things like that. Things that are specific to Exchange. Data retention, built into Exchange Online, some of the higher level plans you can actually do archiving and legal hold. So in case a legal case comes up and you need to hold data, Exchange Online has that capability where you can, users, they think they can delete emails, but it's always out there. And you can designate a person to have discovery capabilities, so they can actually log into the account and search for emails. Data loss prevention. I haven't used this yet, but it sounds very interesting. You can set it up to where you can check subject lines, body, and attachments for common strings of things like, for example, credit cards or social security cards, or even user-defined. If you got a product ID, you can define it. Any email that tries to go out with that in the body of it, it'll flag it. It won't let you send it. I believe you can override that if you're the administrator. You can set that policy, but by default, it won't let you send it out. Okay, give a brief demo of the Office 365 Admin Console after I answer Steve's question.
Some of those 2 or 3 last higher-end features, are they available with all the levels of Office 365?
No.
Okay.
There's 3 levels of the enterprise level, E1, E2, and I'm sorry, E1, E3, and E4.
Yeah, 'cause some of that
Last
stuff
two are
is
E3.
Exchange 2013 Enterprise stuff.
Yes. Yeah. The E1 is just a basic, and we'll get into the pricing and what's in each one of those
Okay.
after the demo. But good question. You probably all used Outlook, or most of you used Outlook 2013, but I'll demo it and I'll show you a couple new features that 2013. Okay. So I've got a demo account here, and the first thing I'll demonstrate is the inline draft. So traditionally in the past, what you do is you create a draft, pops up a new window, you draft it, you do not ready to send it, you save it in the drafts, or you just leave it open, move on to the next one. Well, with this version, your draft is inline, so you can start typing. Close that out. Hello, Amy. Then I get distracted, move on. New email comes in from Jeff. What you'll see here is on the top there, it throws a orange draft right next to it. It looks red on the screen there, but it throws the draft in brackets there, lets you know that, hey, you're drafting an email here. And you not limited to just one, you can go ahead and go out. Julie? That would have been bad. And now you see there's another draft next to it too, so it prevents the pop-up windows now. You can also still pop it out if you need to, but when you're on a touch device, let's say for example a tablet, everything is all done within one window. So it's pretty nice, pretty slick. The other feature that I addressed on was Quick Peek. Hovering above it lets you know, hey, today I've got 6 o'clock start date meeting. Or if you want to jump to the 25th, here's my appointment. So you don't have to necessarily open up the calendar to look at that. These applications have touch and mouse mode. Right now it's in mouse mode. If we go to touch mode, watch what happens. Everything kind of gets spread out, and it's just easier for your fingers to hit the right buttons. Go up and down, delete an email or reply to it, follow up on an email.
Scott?
Yes.
Can I throw a couple more cents in here real quick? When I started using Outlook 2013, I wasn't really happy with it. It took some getting used to for me. But now it is my preferred Outlook version to be in. And I think 2010 is when they introduced the inline emails where you could see all your email thread together, which is nice. But a couple of silly things that I love about Outlook 2013 is, and with all the 2013 apps, is they got, when you go to paste something now, you can do a paste as text and automatically strip out any crazy formatting, which I have found is terribly convenient. And the other thing is that sometimes, like, I'm trying to highlight something in Excel and paste it in an email, and the formatting on that can get wrecked. And if it's just going in there for someone's reference, there's also an option now where you can paste that as an image. And so it goes in as a snapshot. And so again, a couple little things that when I first came across them, it was like, and now when I'm in any other version of Outlook, I go to use those functions and they're not there and it drives me batty.
And the ignore conversation function is very nice too.
Yeah, conversation. So those are a few nice features of Outlook. Anyone have any questions on any of those? Excel 2013. How many users have got Excel? Flashfill? Flashfill? Have you heard of it? This should have been in Excel 97. This is one feature that absolutely incredible. How many times have you wanted to split something and you have to copy and paste, or just type it out here? Say, for example, an email address. I want to split one column with the username and the other column with the domain name. Let's type in Allen's leash. Bam. Automatically fills in. It is very cool. Same thing with the MSN.com, Hotmail, boom. One of the nicest features of this version, it's called Flashfill, and it just automatically fills out.
Yeah, yeah.
I have one.
The other thing we do is something called quick analysis.
Yes, that's useless.
So I've got a spreadsheet here. It's the busiest U.S. airports by total passengers. So it's some I pulled off the web. So what I did was highlight, say the top 10. A little button over here that says quick analysis. So now at a glance, without creating a chart to see how it looks, and start to move jump over the charts. Let's see what that looks like. Jump over to more charts. See what things look like. You know what, I like that pie chart. I'm going to use that one there. So it's kind of nice for a quick analysis and see if it's something that you want to spend your time putting a chart together for. Some other features, Word now can open up PDFs natively, so you can open them up and edit them, and save them back out. I think you can save them out before, but you can edit them. PowerPoint, like I said before, it's got the presenter view, so you get to see what's on the screen, a little sneak peek of the next slide, as well as you got a section for notes as well. Back to my presentation here. Okay, so what does all this cost? It costs Dell. Okay, so there's quite a few plans actually. This just highlights the enterprise and the kiosk plans, but there's also educational, nonprofit, small business and medium-sized businesses. Two of them that actually added last year. But by and far the most popular ones are the enterprise level plans. This slide's a little out of date. Again, it's got 25 gigabytes at your mailbox size. It's actually it's been up to 50. But on the E plans, the E1 plan gives you the mailbox, link online, and the Office web apps. So you can actually view and edit the applications. And SharePoint Online.
Doesn't the first K1 plan have more storage than that now?
I don't know if it does or not. Last I read, I thought it was 1 gig, but kiosk. The Exchange Online has, which is a $4 plan. If you just want Exchange only, that has 50 gigabytes.
So I've got a lot of folks that are using that $4 exchange plan, and it has been awesome for what I do.
Yep. It is nice for mobile devices.
I have some places where I just have like a single user on it just because the synchronization works so well.
Send items.
It is. The E3 and E4 plan is a little more advanced, of course, a little more costly, but it also gives you capability to archive your data. Not only do you get 50 gigabytes on the inbox, but you get unlimited data on your archive data. So you can get all your PST files and just throw them into your online archive. They're accessible through Outlook web app as well. With the E3 and E4 plans, you can get the Office 2013 or whatever the latest version of the desktop application software is. E3 and E4 are pretty much the same, except for E4 has enterprise voice capability, so you can actually tie into your phone system, your PBX.
That's the cost per user per month.
Yes, the cost bottom is the cost per user per month.
Scott, do you have just any of the small business plans on your slides?
I don't.
May I? Real quick, again, because I just do the little dinky stuff. The small business plans for Office 365 start at $5 per user per month, but that only includes the web apps. In order to get the desktop versions of the apps, you got to go to the $12.50 per user per plan on the small business plans.
I think mid-size might be $15.
Yeah, $15, and that looks like that throws in, I don't even know what that icon is. What's the eye? It's a little purple square with an eye in it.
Oh, info path.
Oh, info, okay. And it's got Active Directory integration at the $15 plan.
Yeah, there's a big difference between enterprise, mid-size, small business plans. Maximum number of users.
Up to
mid-size is
25,
yeah.
and then up to 300 for the 15.
Whereas enterprise, I think some ridiculous number like Anyone want to see any of the web apps in action?
Scott, do you ever run into these situations where you get folks that have, like other applications that they're running that integrate in with Office that are maybe questionably compatible with 2013 and definitely not with the web apps? Have you had any challenges there?
Steve, you?
Yes. Yes, the answer is yes. A couple different flavors. Number one, some of them just, I ran into one that said, don't even try with the web app. The hooks aren't there, we can't integrate. I made a big mistake that I learned from, as I often do, while you're installing 2013, it throws it up so you can use it, but down here it's still installing. Don't ever install anything that might integrate during that process. Bad idea. And I had two software vendors that I called that made me go to the registry and said, oh, let's click to run. We don't support it. Click. So, yeah, that was.
Nice.
So anyway, but generally, no, but those were very specific end user applications. Vertical.
I think a lot of those are typically when there's macros involved.
Well, I've got like a couple of small medical offices and their EHRs will auto-generate Word documents based on templates and stuff. And, you know, I'm confident the web apps aren't ready yet, but I'm not sure about, they're all on 2010, so I don't know if 2013 is working or not.
The problem is when you call those companies, they're not ready to deal with it.
Oh, yeah.
That's the problem.
Yeah.
I mean,
So it
Use
makes-
Notes
it
on-
makes-
Those are the same
I
ones
know
you're
that
going
right
to.
now.
let's go to the registry and look at that key. Oh, sorry. Next.
You're not running IE7, we can't support you.
Right. So that's.
Yeah.
This is the actual admin center here. I'll just give you a brief overview of this. This is, when you first log in as administrator, it gives you the current health of all the services you've got, and if there's any issues with them, like for example, Exchange had an issue over here, click on it and get more details. So if someone calls up, I can't get my email, my calendar's not working, or I can't get logged in. This would be the first place you'd look. You open up here, it gives you full information. Microsoft is pretty good about updating this.
So that's the management for one domain.
This is one domain, right? And you can tie multiple domains. Into the
Right,
same
but it's
account,
one
too.
account, which is like okay.
Also on the dashboard, you see some other information if you get any service requests in, for example. You can click on that and give you an update on that. The admin center is really just kind of the overview, so you're actually setting up users, configuring your domains, your licensing, any of the support tickets you've got in, if you want to buy more services, for example. And that's one of the nice things with 365 too, is you can add users as you need them. You don't have to buy a block of 10 or whatever like in the past. If you want to buy an additional user, you just log in, purchase services. I need an Exchange mailbox, boom, click it, good to go.
I have challenges though sometimes when my end users decide they're gonna purchase their own licenses and they're going through the list and this one's $4, I'll buy it. No, that was
there's quite a
SharePoint.
list of, yeah, exactly. Quite a few of them out there. The different admin consoles, again, they all look very similar. Learning curve is low, so if we want to jump over to Exchange, just click on the Exchange admin console. It comes up here. Get rid of this annoying little guy. So then the admin console, point and click, it's all web-based, and anyone that's deployed the actual on-premise Exchange server, console looks exactly the same. So you can set up your mail flow if you want to set up the rules, which accept connectors, accepted domains. Take a look at your recipient information.
Can you enter PowerShell commands right there that go?
No, you actually have to have a separate PowerShell command, like a DOS window, you pop it
Okay.
open, and then you send us some commands to get
But
connected
it will-
into it.
There's a connector that you have to download in. It's not hard.
Specific for Exchange
The,
or Office Online.
the main thing I use it for, again, I've got some small offices that just don't want their passwords to ever expire.
Right.
And it's
And you can't,
PowerShell to me, you can run
exactly, you can't do that through the admin console yet. Now, they're always tweaking the admin console, so new commands are always coming out. But as of right now, password never expire isn't on there, and say for example, you had 10 users that you're setting up and you want to set them all the same password. Right now, you have to go through and click each one of them, and even now, all that's doing is just setting a random string of characters and letters for the password. With PowerShell, you can go in there and say, set all my users to the word password. Well, it wouldn't be that, because it has to be a secure, strong password.
I think there's a PowerShell
That's not
where you
secure?
can turn that down.
Wait, what?
There is.
Passwords not secure?
Double number 2 on the list.
1, 2, 3. I gotta make a note of this.
Why would anybody want to hack mine?
So the thing here is you can set different things for each user. Same thing with the different lane and SharePoint, CRM lanes, or
At this level.
And this will tie in with policy, how does that?
that is a discussion for a completely different day.
What they call,
What you have to do is you have to actually set up extra servers on site.
That's our topic for next month, I
It's
think.
not.
Scott, you're not missing next month, are you?
I guess not. Yeah, Microsoft actually recommends 5 additional servers for that situation.
Actually,
For redundancy and available. I can't remember exactly what it is, 2 federation servers, 2 logging servers, and then a proxy server or something.
We saw the policy running
On premise.
on premise for the settings you want to have to control the applications, the desktop applications, but if there's anything else going on.
Yeah, and you can, and people use it for cutover migrations and staged migrations actually. So if you have, say, 5,000 people in an organization, you don't want to cut them all over at once. You can do by department or whatever. And then it all federates together. But it's pretty hairy, to be honest. So, okay, let's take a look at some of the web apps here. So I'll jump over to the SharePoint site for contoso.com. Okay, so we've got some example documents in there. Say, for example, the financial analysis for water heaters in Serbia. Everybody wants to know about that. Click on that. What's going to do is going to go ahead and launch a preview window for Excel web app. What do you want to do? You want to edit in Excel? If it detects Excel on your computer, it'll say edit in Excel or edit in the web app. Try the web app. You'll see it looks very much like Excel. It's got the ribbon across the top. Fully editable.
Scott, does all the formatting stay pretty consistent between the web apps?
It actually does.
Is there collaboration with these web apps?
Absolutely.
Work on the document at the same time?
Absolutely, yeah. As long as the document's shared in SharePoint, up to 10 users can actually be editing the same document at the same time.
In real time, I mean,
Real time. So if you want to open an Excel, let's just go ahead and find Excel on your computer. Boom. Comes open. So now I'm actually editing in Excel. You can save it. Your Contoso or your SharePoint site, you save up to your shared drive, or you can save it on your mobile computer.
Scott, from a general usage standpoint, where's the demarcation point that says, okay, the web app's not going to be sufficient for what I need to do. I need to be in the full-blown app. Now, I understand if we're talking integration, that's obvious, but from I'm working on spreadsheets and documents standpoint, is there a clear-cut line where it's like, this is when I need to be on the full app?
Yeah, I would say probably if there's some advanced features like macros and things like that. it'd probably be-
Pivot tables, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, probably some of the heavy lifting stuff. But if you're, say for example, at the last minute you change a report or something, you want to, jump on a computer, log in to the web browser, you can make that change. So, general formatting it works pretty well. Same thing for the Word app. Right there, that's there. Yep, we need to make this change, edit in the Word app.
You can use the web apps with only SharePoint or with SkyDrive?
With
for
SkyDrive,
documents, or-
yeah, the SkyDrive works here. as long as the documents are saved out there. Formatting on this looks
It's beautiful.
That might need some work.
yeah, that's probably some crazy formatting.
So Scott, if you're using the web apps and you have locally stored documents, you need to copy them to your SkyDrive before you get to them?
What kind of training do the end users need? Because this is certainly a little bit more than a traditional, say that my documents are out on the network drive. And secondly, what size, I know Jason mentioned some smaller ones. What size companies do you see using this? Because there's just a massive amount of abilities that everything from SharePoint to having a Exchange backend and everything. What size companies do you see needing or wanting this?
Yeah, that's a good question. The first point on the end user training, certainly whoever's going to be administering it is going to need some hand holding it first and train them how to go in there and create users. A lot of times they'll just contact us and say, I need this user added with this license. So that's not too bad. But if they want to take it on themselves, usually spend an hour or two going through the console and give them a quick rundown of the features and how to administer it. End users, they're not, it's really not too bad. Just the look, a lot of it's shot from 2013, coming from an older version, trying to ramp up for that. So saving it's not too bad for them. To your point about what size companies, that is usually driven financially. So they take a look at what return on investment. Say, for example, they're coming from Exchange 2003 on premise and they want to move to Exchange online. What's it cost to install a new server? Hardware, labor, licensing costs versus they've got 50 users at $8 a month. Do the math and what's the return on investment. That's usually how that
Yeah, I find that the vast majority of the time, if anybody wants collaborative services, the Office 365 hosted Exchange is an easy sell. The only time I run into problems, if it's a nonprofit and they get Excel for next to nothing through TechSoup, and then that's a little harder to talk about.
Yeah, that's when you start talking about, you start driving the collaboration. You want to start sharing documents, save them back. Because when they're in SharePoint, they're backed up, they're saved, they're scanned, you have multiple revisions, I mean, there's a really rich set of features.
Well, it's like, listen, you're not gonna have to have me coming in all the time to deal with maintenance issues on this system. And your whole site can blow up and your email's gonna be fine.
Right.
Just wondering.
Exactly.
And I think another driving factor is there's no more small business server.
Yes.
Right? So this bundled nature, which was very inexpensive in the past, now you have to buy the full-blown version of Exchange. So moving to some type of cloud-based hosted, Office 365 or other solution.
In addition to that, just the maintaining of the servers and stuff that you have on site, backups, things like that, it's all in the cloud.
Well, I'm talking to a client now, and I'm like, listen, if you've got an aging small business server that is limping, and if we go and if we look at putting in a new file server, if we take your Exchange services and push that to the cloud, we don't need to get nearly as beefy a file server.
Correct.
And Bill, maybe that would be a good topic, is talking about the various flavors of Server 2012 and when it makes sense to use which one.
Well, we need a speaker to go along with the topic.
I talk about Foundation. I do a lot of Foundation.
Sold. Congratulations.
So in a nutshell, that's kind of a brief overview of 365. Really what it is two things. You've got the familiar Office with the back-end services that together make up 365. So, any additional questions?
Do you license, I'm sure you can, how do you license 365 in a terminal server? Or can
That's a
you?
good question.
Based on per
Remote
user.
desktop or whatever the hell they call it.
Yeah, it's based on per user. So when you-
Concurrent user, or is it licensed like?
it's licensed users.
Right.
Named user.
Yeah, they tag it to an account, so it'd be
Yeah,
it'd be per user you got.
Actually,
not
had a user
per-
that tried to do that one time. It wasn't terminal services, but they wanted to have, because you get 5 installs for every every user.
So they wanted to buy 5 and get 25 installs?
No, that never happens.
They were actually trying to use across 2 computers. They wanted to have 2 installs going, which would have been fine if both users were installed or were logged in as the same user, but they wanted 2 different email accounts. I said, well, that's really 2 different users, so you have to buy 2 separate licenses.
So I'm not
We do
saying.
aliases and exchange rules.
Yeah.
Yeah, really complicated.
But the answer is yes, as long as you license every
Every user has to.
every user.
Well, I know like with Office 2007 and 2010, if you try to get like a mulked version or a retail version,
No.
you put it on an Exchange server, it immediately goes, "Mm." And so what channel, I mean, if you just subscribe to Office 365 and try to put that on a terminal server to let you do it, or you have to go through special,
I haven't tried it yet.
yeah.
I mean, I know everything's streamed down, so that's fun.
Well, I just
Just
decommissioned
curious.
my Exchange server a few weeks ago, or I'd try it for you.
Yeah.
I got a question about SkyDrive, if anybody's experienced it. We're having a lot of our users, of course, getting the new toys, so they're using SkyDrive on their new toys and syncing their files up. Then they get to their office where they have 2010, and they're getting tons of errors all the time about it opens, it downloads, it'll work in the web app, but as soon as it tries to launch in 10, it tells you it's a corrupted file or bad source. You look on Microsoft, all you get fed is the make sure SharePoint services are in there, and of course that is. If you do a full completed install like most people do when they do 10, it's there. Just wondered if anybody figured it out yet, because I haven't.
I haven't come across that yet.
Okay. I guess the easy solution is moving to 13 then.
Just install 13.
Do you have any Microsoft solution?
It is.
So I think, and this is
.xlx
an
file?
overview question. One of the advantages is you pay forever per month and you get all the new versions.
Right, yeah,
Do you-
Microsoft's still shipping.
Do you know if when those come out, do you get a choice or you
You can control that. You
You
control, it
can?
doesn't automatically necessarily have to get put down. And that's one of the control things with the IT side of things. You can actually control.
So
users
2000,
get it.
2015 comes out, if I'm not quite ready, I can.
You don't have to install.
Well, why wouldn't you?
It's available for you.
Nothing can go wrong.
It'll be fine.
Yeah, that's the shift that Microsoft is taking on right now, is moving from product-based to sales to service-based.
I know it's public folders are still listed on there, review information about that. I thought that was probably done.
They actually did come and brought it back. Backed by popular demand.
Oh, we run into
That man over there.
archiving of email is a big deal. Yes, because everything we do in our office, in our control firm, so everything we do is project-based with multiple people working on the same project. So we try to consolidate all of the project-related email back to a single public folder source that when that project is finished, we can pull the whole thing off. So in the long term, we're pulling these projects off as they die or finish. Yeah, one PST eventually. Because long term, I'm thinking, okay, there you go, all this storage space, but what do you do in 30 years? You know, or you have 20 years, and the same employee there, and you just build up this massive email, and then I still run into this issue of getting my users to actually clean out their damn inbox.
But, I mean, if we look at the hosted Exchange now, they just bumped it from 25 to 50 gigs. Storage gets cheaper all the time. And so, you know, in 20 years from now, whatever we're using, they'll probably give you a couple petabytes and you'll be okay.
Yeah, but it's the management side of the
Look
issue.
what they're doing now. They, I mean, actually give you unlimited archiving. But yeah, man,
Management, suddenly I gotta search for something, and I'm searching through, you know, I'm getting results for stuff that's 20 years old.
we're finding the third way.
Yeah, I know, but still,
Yeah.
it's redundant.
Remember, the internet goes down.
Any other questions?
So do you.
Bob, do you have any questions?
Hi, Bob.
Well, I want to thank everybody for coming. And I guess you'll just have to watch the emails for what topic we come up with for next time, since, you know, we have 2 volunteers here, so we'll see. even though they didn't know they volunteered. I volunteered. Thanks, Scott.
Thank you.